Chapter 3. A Church for the Poor. How I would like a church which is poor and for the poor, Pope Francis said soon after his election. In Chapter 3 of Dilexi, Pope Leo deepens his reflection on what it means for the church to be poor and for the poor. He affirms that this vision is not a novelty, but a return to the gospel's roots. From her earliest days, the church's true wealth has been her solidarity with the least, not her material possessions. The Pope insists that the credibility of Christian witness depends on living this truth, recognizing the face of Christ in those who suffer and making them the heart of ecclesial life. Drawing on scripture and early Christian history, Leo XIV highlights how service to the poor was integral to the first communities. The Acts of the Apostles recounts the appointment of 7 deacons to ensure fair distribution to widows, showing that charity was not an optional activity, but part of the church's very structure. Saints like Stephen and Lawrence embodied this spirit, serving the poor even to martyrdom. When the Roman authorities demanded the treasures of the church, St. Lawrence famously presented the poor, declaring, "These are the treasures of Christ." Their example, the Pope says, remains a mirror for the modern church. Holiness and service must be inseparable. The fathers of the church, especially St. John Chrysostom and St. Augustine, are cited as passionate defenders of the poor. Chrysostom warned that to neglect the hungry while adorning the altar is hypocrisy, teaching that not giving to the poor is stealing from them, defrauding them of their lives, because what we have belongs to them. Augustine, following St. Ambrose, emphasized that almsgiving is not generosity, but justice, restoring to others their share of the goods that were given to all. For both, love for the poor was a form of worship, turning compassion into liturgy. Pope Leo writes, "For Augustine, the poor are not just people to be helped, but the sacramental presence of the Lord." The Pope then traces how this spirit shaped the Church's care for the sick, prisoners, and abandoned through history, seen in the witness of St. Camillus de Lelis, St. John of God, and countless religious women who built hospitals and schools, oases of dignity where no one was excluded. Monastic communities, too, lived this vocation through hospitality, labor, and teaching, making charity a form of contemplation. The orders of the Trinitarians and Mercedarians were born in the Middle Ages to ransom captives and free slaves, powerful signs that Christian love is willing to risk everything for the oppressed. In the 13th century, the rise of the mendicant orders, especially the Franciscans, Dominicans, and Poor Clares, marked a new evangelical revolution. They embraced voluntary poverty, lived among the people, and preached through example that freedom comes from simplicity and fraternity. The Pope also celebrates the Church's role in education. From St. Joseph Calazans and St. John Bosco to countless women's congregations who taught and dignified the poor when society excluded them. St. Teresa of Calcutta said, "Our poor people are great people, are very lovable people. They do not need our pity and sympathy. They need our understanding love. They need our respect. They need that we treat them with dignity." Migration has become a modern frontier of this same mission. Saints like Francis Cabrini and John Baptist Scalabrini revealed that the stranger is a brother to be welcomed, not a problem to be solved. Finally, Pope Leo praises the rise of popular movements, communities of lay people who defend the rights of workers and the excluded, urging the Church to walk beside them as partners in justice and builders of a more fraternal world.